Okay, today's a bit of an actionable podcast. So if you're kind of listening in the car or you're listening and you're doing other things, bookmark this one because I want you to go grab a piece of paper and a pen and take some notes and actually take action. This is more of like a exercise I want you to do, and it's on your timing. Because and how this came up is I was having a conversation with a client about getting booked out and his definition of booked out, and we've talked about this. It's the O in my route framework. But one of the things, and this is a perfect time to do it because you're kind of mid-year, you're in Q3, looking forward, you're starting to plan hopefully for Q4 and then moving into like Q1 of the next year, which is crazy to even think about it, but it's the reality. All right. And so one of the things that he does not take into consideration, or he wasn't taking into consideration when he was talking about being booked out, was the amount of time he was spending on the admin and the marketing and the networking side, right? Like, so it's one thing to look at your schedule and think about how many hours you have available to take on client work. And for most of you, that's all you do is you look at it and go, okay, well, I've got 40 hours a week available, or I want to work 20 hours a week, or I want to work 30 hours a week, whatever it is, whatever that number is, it doesn't matter. I'll use 40 just because it's easier. So I have 40 hours a week that I want to work. And if I am taking on XY number of, let's say that you meet with your clients once a week, if you're doing one-to-one work or whatever it is. And so technically that looks like you could, take on, 10 clients a week or whatever it is, 10 clients a month if you meet with them for a couple hours. But here's the other thing you have to think about is you've got marketing, you've got admin time, like you've got to send invoices, you've got to follow up, you've got to do client work, whether that's call notes, whether it's preparing something for a group program or whatever it is, you've got this admin work that you have to do and you have to schedule that in. I schedule a whole day of admin. So Wednesdays for me are completely admin. So that right there is 8 hours out of my schedule that is not available. Okay. And so you've got to figure in at least one day, I would say, or at least 4 hours a week into admin time, right? Like writing your social content, getting into your emails, scheduling your social content, creating graphics. If you don't have somebody else doing all of this for you, even if you do, you still have to do the preparation for it. You need to schedule in your admin time, okay? The other thing that you need to schedule in is your marketing time. And by that, I mean, your coffee chats, your networking events, your commitments. If you're into groups, like if you're in the alliance and you have a mastermind, you've got to factor that all in. And so these things need to come to the top. I mean, how long does it take for you to send proposals? Do you send contracts? All of these things, like you've got to think about all of these tasks that you do and put them into your admin or your marketing, and then look at them on your schedule. Okay. And so one of the greatest ways you can do this is just go back through your calendar. Go back through your calendar and look at how much time did you spend on coffee chats? Average it out. How much time did you spend meeting people one-on-one? Average it out and come up with a number. And so that you have an accurate understanding of where you're spending your time, because I guarantee you're spending more time on admin and marketing than you think you are, which is cutting into your client time, which is where you make your money. Okay. Your client, you can only take on the number of clients for the amount of hours you have. And so if you're looking at, from a growth perspective, and you're really trying to grow or increase your revenue and understand that, you have to have a clear understanding of where you're spending your time. And so this is an exercise I want every single one of you to do and go back through. I do it all the time myself, is like looking at how many hours you spend. I take 2 days off in the beginning of the month to schedule out all of my content because I don't like spending and doing it every single week. I like knowing that the first two Wednesday, like the Wednesday and Thursday of the month, I have off and I just plan for it. So it's like 16 hours total that I do for marketing and content, right? And then I have my coffee chats on one day so I can look at how many of those I do. These are things you've got to take into consideration. And then, so if you're looking at like a 30-hour work week, and then you've got 8 hours a week in client or admin time, and then you've got another 8 hours a week in your marketing time, which is, those sound like big numbers, but I guarantee you're probably even spending more time than that. I'm talking all the time you spend scrolling, all the time you spend engaging, all of this, account for all of it. It's all marketing. Okay. By the time you subtract that out, so 30 minus 16, let's just use that, or even 15 for easy numbers, you only have 15 hours a week to work on your clients or to do client work. So what does that look like for you? Now, that sounds like, oh, wow, I can take on 15 clients a month or 15 clients a week if you only meet with them for an hour. But again, that's not the real case. Like, think about all the other things that you have to do in between, answering emails, right? So you've got to look at that from a perspective of revenue and profit, because if you're not accounting for your time and you're only looking at your P&L, you could be really there's probably more money that you could be making if you got a handle on your time. All right. So this can be kind of confusing. I know it sounds kind of crazy, and it's not. Like, when you talk about it and just when I'm just speaking about it, it sounds like, well, Michelle, I've got more time than you're even mentioning. I I'm using just very basic numbers. And if you need help kind of going through this and looking at your trajectory for profitability, that's what I'm talking about here, is like, let's look at revenue and profitability and what is your opportunity for growth. You can really look at that. And if you have, but you have to have solid data on this. You have to know, like, how much time, even if you have a VA, how much time are you spending with them, sending them information, going back and forth, etc. Like, all of this needs to be accounted for. It doesn't have to be down to the minute, but you need to have some level of understanding of where you're spending your time, because that's going to allow you to say, wow, I didn't realize I was wasting so much time scheduling my content, or I didn't realize how much time I was wasting because I was doing coffee chats every day. And then I have this 30-minute buffer in between. Well, that's downtime. Okay, that needs to be counted as admin. If you have this buffer in between that you're not getting anything else done, that's severely cutting into what could potentially be a profitable hour, right? So maybe you need to schedule them back to back, or and then have a break to where you can get something done, or schedule in different things. Like, you can rearrange your schedule a bit so that you can increase your profits. But if you don't have a clear understanding of it, you can't do that. Okay, so take some time, go through, look at your schedule, look where you're spending your time, come up with some numbers, and then really look at, where can I increase? Where can I put in these pockets of money making time? And what does that look like? Is it one client? Is it two clients? Is it a group? Whatever that looks like. All right. I'll talk to you soon.